Hello and welcome to yet another episode of NME Album Club. I'm Leonie Cooper and this is Tom Howard.
Hello.
We've got Tom in today because there's a particular album that Tom just really wants to discuss, an album that's out today.
It's actually because regular contributor Dan Stubbs is extremely hungover.
He's unwell. He is.
He's unwell.
Deeply
So I'm doing
unwell.
what you do when a friend is in need, and I'm being a friend indeed and helping him out.
Indeed he is. So Tom is quite excited about discussing the Liam Gallagher album, which is out today. Also out today, Marilyn Manson, another 40-something man. And then we'll be talking about a classic album that doesn't have an anniversary this week, but kind of a dearly departed rock star released in 1989. So first we will discuss Liam Gallagher with the album
As You Were.
You would keep the secrets in ya. You'd be keeping paraphernalia. Oh, I think you know.
Here it is, Tom, finally, the debut solo album from William John Paul Gallagher, age 45, from Burnage, Manchester. So tell me a little bit about this guy. He looks really familiar.
Yeah, well, he's the lead singer from BDI. They were pretty good.
I remember those guys. They were awesome.
Yeah. Well, no, they weren't good. I didn't think.
No.
But of course, Oasis were good.
They were maybe
I thought
maybe one of the best. I would say Oasis.
Yeah.
Classic.
But maybe what's so what I find exciting about this album is that unlike when Oasis broke up, Liam formed BDI, and I didn't like them at all.
No.
And so it seemed maybe like that was it for him, and he's come back with this. And that's actually like when I was a kid, Liam was my main guy. He's been my main guy for a very long time. I'm a big fan of his general.
Just the vibe. You love the vibe as well as the music, don't you?
And even and I was worried that this could be a total disaster. But I was listening to it on my bike on the way in this morning.
Rock and roll. That's a bicycle, not a motorbike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate is to some people a safety hazard.
I tell him every week.
But I was having a lovely time, and I thought to myself, if I do die in a terrible accident this morning, listening to this album, I'll take that.
Yeah, it's all right, isn't it? I enjoy this record. So what's interesting about this, as opposed to, so Noel is also doing his High Flying Birds thing. Noel, of course, his older brother. The two have a well-documented rift, don't they? So he does High Flying Bird stuff, just writes all the songs. Liam has got some co-writers in for this, and he's got some pretty kind of big shot guys. Greg Kurstin, who is a producer and songwriter who's worked with Lily Allen and Adele and Sia, like big pop, glossy pop names like Gwen Stefani, all these people. He's co-written a fair bunch of tracks on here as well. And there's a guy from Mike Snow as well. So it's all these big LA guys who've come in to offer this kind of glossy, finished pop sound, and it works.
I don't know if it's a pop sound, really.
Okay.
Is it?
Well, it's pop leaning, isn't it?
It's
melodic.
It's glossy.
Indeed it is.
It's quite,
It's not rough around the edges.
Nah.
There's a sheen to it.
Yeah.
A shimmer.
Yeah.
A bit of glitz, a bit of glam.
Yeah.
There's kind of glam, there's a kind of T-Rex vibe on a few tracks.
The genius of Liam is that because he's Liam and because he
is.
sings like he does, he cuts through that. He's like a squeeze of lemon in a rich dish. It just cuts through it.
It's the rough with the smooth.
Yeah.
Because he's got that great Liam voice. You hear it and you're like, oh yeah, I know.
You hear it.
I'm well aware of that man. So he said about this record, I didn't want to be reinventing anything or going off on a jazz space odyssey. It's the Lennon Cold Turkey vibe, the Stones, the classics, but done my way, now.
Yeah.
And it is, so you can hear the Beatles in there, you can hear the Stones in there, you can hear Primal Scream in there. You can also weirdly hear Blur in there. There's a song called Universal Gleam, which sounds a little bit like a song called Tender, which is weird, but, not a bad thing.
Liam's not got beef with Blur anymore, though.
No, but, still an odd thing to reference. Also, Tame Impala, what's the track that sounds like Tame Impala?
Yeah, Doesn't Have to Be That Way.
Yeah.
I think that's the one. That's the kind of most. That's the one I think that will surprise people the most.
It's most different from what you would expect. Everything else you kind of expect it to sound like, but this is this weird kind of swirling psychedelic thing.
Yeah.
5 years since Lonerism was released as well, coincidentally.
What today? The actual day.
The Tame Impala album, yeah.
Oh right, okay, yeah. Yeah.
You like that record, don't you?
I do, yeah. I like Tame Impala. That one's really good. It's a good. I think there's a lot of just good songs on there, a lot of good choruses on there, good sing-along bits like in Bold.
Lay it on me.
Yeah.
Get ready for that when you see him live, because you're going to be singing along. If you're not, I will louder.
It's going to be interesting because obviously, you know, Oasis. I think that the thing that BDI really failed to do was write songs that that had that big kind of arms aloft, singing along vibe, like all the Oasis songs did. But this, I think, does it. It's going to be interesting to see how he does with his, like, 'cause he's obviously got a big tour later in the year.
Yeah.
And I think that what's going to happen is that a lot of those songs are going to become. There's a lot of very easy bits to kind of, you know, join in with, because he's been playing these songs live all summer really, and you know, some of them are going down well, some of them people don't necessarily know that well, but I think come November they're going to be like, everyone's going to be singing that Lay It On Me thing, and there's going to be a whole new dimension.
And then he's going to play those Oasis songs as well. It's going to be brilliant.
Yeah, I feel really happy for Liam. I'm just really glad that this is, because I think he's obviously, everyone knows who he is, and he's obviously had a really long campaign where he's just talked a lot.
Yeah,
he said a lot of amazing things.
He's been doing a lot of interviews for a long time, hasn't he? But all good.
And I think I've spoken to a lot of people whose opinion of Liam 10, 15, 20 years ago was not necessarily that high. He had a kind of bit of a reputation as being like you know, maybe like a yob, and people didn't necessarily think he was that intelligent and all this kind of thing. But I think the tide's really turned with the public opinion of Liam, and I think people are realising that he's actually, there's a lot more to him.
People feel very warm towards Liam Gallagher, don't they?
Yeah,
definitely. Like, I mean, you wouldn't be surprised to hear that everyone in the NME office feels very warmly towards Liam Gallagher. But like, it's just a certain fondness to this man. Doesn't he look really cool on the cover as well?
It's a great cover as well.
It's so good.
It reminds me of the Iggy Pop Lust for Life cover
the
most. Although Iggy's smiling on that, but as we were discussing earlier, Liam doesn't smile that often. Because actually Liam obviously is a very handsome man, but when he smiles, he looks quite weird.
Well, or if you look to Liam's Twitter account today, you'll see that Liam has used the Face application to give himself a big smile on the cover as well. It's really weird, but also quite funny. So Liam evidently does have a sense of humour. I never doubted it for a second.
Yeah, but and it's interesting that the Noel album is coming out in late November. Obviously, this will be Noel's third solo album, and this is Liam's first solo album. So it's taken him a little while to sort of get his shit together.
Well, Noel's 5 years older, isn't he? So, you know.
True, yeah, exactly. Liam's got time on his side. But I think I'd love to know, Noel's obviously, his he's been saying that he's just indifferent about all Liam's new songs. But I bet that Noel is pleasantly surprised by by the quality of this. I think he's going to be thinking, okay, do you think fair play to you,
proud
brother.
of his little brother?
Yeah, I think maybe
secretly.
he is. I mean, I think, you know, they obviously have a very public feud, although it's mostly Liam these days, just kind of attacking Noel.
Yeah.
But I think Noel will be happy that Liam's got his shit together and made a decent album. I think he's going to be happy with that.
We're all happy, aren't we?
I mean, it's as good as, like, it's the best thing Liam's done for. I mean, it's better than both BDI albums. Probably better than the last two
Oasis albums as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
it's
fair play to the guy.
Into it. How many Liams are you going to give it out of 5 Liams?
I give it 10 Liams out of 5 Liams.
Liam would like that excess. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Because you've got to aim for a 5, haven't you? Always aim for a 5.
Yeah,
but if you get a 4, that's pretty good. So, yeah, Liam, as you were.
As
Fantastic.
you were. LG Kiss.
Next, another man, Marilyn Manson.
Around people like us.
Here it is, Marilyn Manson's 10th album, Heaven Upside Down. So this was supposed to come out on Valentine's Day earlier this year, and it was called Say 10 then. Do you know how that's spelt?
No. Oh yeah. Wait. Hold on. Yeah.
Okay.
S.
Yeah.
A. T.
No. S.
I'm out.
Yeah. Good try. You started off really well. SAY10. Say 10.
Yeah.
So it's 10. But also, do you know what that sounds like?
Is it the devil himself?
Beelzebub himself, the devil incarnate. Because, Brian Warner likes to flirt with certain imagery, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's kind of sex, religion, death, violence.
Yeah.
That's his standard go-to material. And on this album, he's He's not veered from that at all.
No.
It is what I like about Marilyn Manson is the fact that he is a showman. Like, he's committed to the role of Marilyn Manson for the past 25 years, and he really goes for it. I interviewed him in August, and he's like fully. He is Marilyn Manson. He's got the full makeup on. He was wearing a wonderful, I think, Vivienne Westwood tartan suit. And he's a very odd man, but in a perfect way, like you would expect him to be. He is weird, but great. You don't want him not to be weird.
No, I mean, I absolutely admire his dedication to the cause of being Marilyn Manson.
And what other rock star does that? I mean, Liam has his vibe, but as we were discussing earlier, that's Liam.
Yeah, I don't know, it's a good question, because I mean, like, you got obviously these kind of shock rock people before, like, I don't know, Ozzy Osbourne or Alice Cooper or something like that, yeah.
Kiss.
But even them, you get the... Well, Ozzy, I don't know, if Alice Cooper these days, I think, seems like a very normal dude. Ozzy, I think, maybe became too Ozzy.
He went too deep into that particular...
And I do wonder about Marilyn Manson's, like, sort of mental health, because it must be quite strange being this all the time and just thinking all these things all the time and having to... But then maybe that just is... Like, well, maybe he was that anyway, or has he become... I don't know, like...
Well, I think he is this all the time, but, you know, at the beginning, he was a music journalist, just like you and me.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So maybe one day you will become...
Yeah, it's still time.
Time. I mean, he's 48. You've got, you know, close. You are a bit older than me, but...
Literally the same age. Same school year.
Yeah, but you were the year before. Anyway, long story. So, yeah, he was, I don't know, was he ever normal? It's good that he's not normal.
I don't know. Who did he write for when he was a music journalist?
I think he was at uni in Florida, and he was kind of writing...
Like before he was in the cult.
Oh, yeah.
He's definitely a murderer.
Yeah,
He's possibly not a serial killer though.
Yeah, but there was like Twiggy Ramirez as well, that all these different people in the band with that same kind of name set up. But then he became Marilyn Manson, fell in with, let's say, a bad crowd. So 9 Inch Nails kind of supported him from the beginning, but then, you know, things went a bit wayward. And and then we have this man here now, the industrial heartthrob that is Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
So I like this record a lot, actually. There's a track on it called Kill For Me, which I think sounds like something off AM by Arctic Monkeys.
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
It's really weird. It's got this kind of like, no, sexy bass line.
I think maybe
like Queens of the Stone Age.
I think maybe that's the one that in our review, Greg Cochran says sounds like a Charlie XCX song, except that is it about murdering?
Yeah, they're all a bit about murdering. That's sort of the vibe. But that's a really big tune, like an electropop murder ballad.
Right, yeah.
I think that's what Greg said.
I find the cover quite confusing though, because his whole all his promo shots I thought were magnificent, and he's had those really weird. Like there's one where he looks like he's got grayscale, like in Game of Thrones, and he's got also all over his face and the top of his hand. And he's
is that where it's kind of the white is flaking off?
Yeah, and all these other kind of quite strange shots, and then this is a reasonably straight shot here.
It is actually, he's just kind of just a touch of eyeliner.
I mean, it's almost like
a lot of powder on the face.
It's almost like they've caught him in Brian Warner mode.
It's like the transition,
where
he's like half Warner, half Manson.
He hasn't.
Like, one second, I haven't quite finished my makeup.
Or he hasn't come out of the phone box yet. He's still trapped in there. Yeah,
the photographer's leaving in half an hour. We've got to do the shoot. Okay, well, I've just popped my collar. And it'll be fine. But there's a song on here called Jesus Crisis.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know, because that's also, there's a lot of wordplay.
Yeah, he loves wordplay, just Manson pun. But his whole career,
it's not like dad puns.
His name is a pun. The whole thing is wordplay. That's probably not,
Maybe that's the journalism.
Right.
But the song Jesus Crisis, the opening line is, I write songs to fuck and to fight to. All right. No, but what about dancing? No dancing. Merely the fucking and the fighting. Yeah. That's just what you have to deal with.
He's not a big dancer, is he? Does he do dancing on stage? I know he does like the... so I haven't seen him live for a few years, but obviously he used to do things where he would be on big stilts and everything, and he'd be...
I suppose that's not dancing, it's performance, though.
He's a performance artist, isn't he?
what I really like about him, his dedication to performance and putting on a show. So much so that actually he's not in a good way at the moment, because on Saturday at a show in New York, he clambered up his stage set, which was 2 giant guns, and it toppled over and it fell on top of him, and he was like in hospital. So get well.
Do we know how he is?
He's all right. He's recuperating at home. And he is touring the UK later this year, and those dates are still set to go ahead.
Fine.
That's going to be a good night out, isn't it? Will you come? Will you come?
Yeah, sure, yeah. But the thing is, with Marilyn Manson getting injured like that, it's not easy being the god of fuck. You know what I mean? It's not easy. It's
imagine.
like you've got to break a few eggs if you want to be the god of fuck. So it makes sense. I think
classic saying. That.
I think even he will be thinking, it comes with the territory.
It does. If you're going to be that extreme, then extreme stuff will happen.
Exactly.
So Marilyn Manson, Heaven Upside Down. I'm into it. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, okay. I'll give it a 3.
Okay. Not as keen. So finally, the last album of the day is a man who I love, a man called Tom Petty, who passed away earlier this week. And we're going to talk about his first debut solo album, first and debut being the same thing. Tautology. Full Moon Fever.
She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Jesus, in America too.
So Full Moon Fever was Tom Petty's first solo album. He'd been putting out music for years with his band The Heartbreakers, so since the mid-70s.
Yeah.
Tom Petty, by the way, born in Florida, rock star extraordinaire.
Yeah.
So you can kind of class him in the same group as like Springsteen and doing that kind of heartland rock thing.
Yeah.
So Full Moon Fever came out in 1989. So he'd been releasing albums since the mid-70s, but he broke away from his band. So you know, like how Springsteen has the E Street Band, Tom Petty had the Heartbreakers. And despite the fact that this was his first album that's just Tom Petty without the Heartbreakers, there's still like a bunch of them are on the album anyway.
Right, yeah.
He's probably like, oh, guys, actually, I need someone to play bass.
Yeah.
Come on, if you turn up. Like, all right, Tom, fine. But he collaborated with Jeff Lynne from ELO on this record, so he co-wrote a lot of the songs.
So was that the first time he'd worked with Jeff Lynne?
It's not the first time he worked with Jeff Lynne. Travelling Wilburys, Tom.
Oh, that was before this.
So that was, around about the same time. So the Travelling Wilburys, the greatest rock and roll supergroup in the world. Can you name all of the Travelling Wilburys, Tom? If you can't
all of them?
Yeah.
No. Bob Dylan.
Yes. One of them's a Beatle.
David Beckham. No. George Harrison.
Correct. Jeff Lynne and Tom Petty.
Jeff Lynne,
Final
Tom
one.
Petty.
In many ways, maybe the best one. He's the one who died first.
Oh, yeah, Roy Orbison.
There we go.
Yeah.
Very good. So ELO's Jeff Lynne helped out on Full Moon Fever. It's 40 minutes long. It's like a quick album. Maybe it's even 39 and a half minutes.
Nice.
There's so many good songs on this album. So it's only 12 songs. Yes, got the track list down here.
Yeah.
It opens with Free Fallin'. Have you heard a more delightful song? So these are like pure Americana songs. These are driving down the freeway with the wind in your hair and a beautiful girl on your side, or a beautiful man. Depends. Whatever. Or maybe just your pet dog.
Yeah.
But imagine with dogs, when dogs get their heads out the window in a car and their ears go like that.
Tongue.
Yeah.
Wagging.
Yeah, so good. Free Falling, beautiful, beautiful song. Then I Won't Back Down, like, it's quite a serious song, but it's good.
Yeah, I know I Won't Back Down. Yeah.
Backing vocals from George Harrison.
Questions for you.
Yep.
So does this sound notably different to the stuff he did with the Heartbreakers?
It is kind of softer and smoother. It's because the Heartbreakers, like, big rock and roll band, and this has got that pop gloss to it, which kind of ELO's Jeff Lynne has brought to it, because obviously ELO do that kind of Beatlesy thing really well. So that's the difference in sound. But to be honest with you, it's not that different.
Right, yeah.
I think he just wanted a little time away from the lads.
Well, that was my next question. Like, why did he do it? Like,
why not? I mean, if you're in a band with some people for 13 years, maybe you want to be like,
yeah,
guys, the time has come.
Okay. And did it start like a chain of solo albums?
Yes, so there are more after this, but then he gets back with the Heartbreakers as well.
And
so
kind of flits.
Yeah, so the last time I saw him play, which is the first time I saw him play, which I can't believe it took so long because I'm such a big fan, but I saw him at Hyde Park this summer doing British Summertime Festival.
Well, that was the first time you've seen him?
I know, right?
Right.
I know. Glad I did, because of events.
Yeah.
So I saw him play this summer, and it was the 40th anniversary of the Heartbreakers. So they've been together for, a good old 40 years.
Yeah.
and it was phenomenal. It was so good.
So did they play solo stuff, or did he just play Heartbreaker
They
stuff?
played a mishmash of all of the stuff. So loads of stuff. Also, Stevie Nicks was there.
Oh right, what,
Stevie
singing?
Nicks, yeah, so Stevie Nicks supported, but Stevie Nicks and Tom Petty were really good friends.
Right, yeah.
Really close pals. They have a song together, Stop Dragging My Heart Around, which they did then. Quite a lot of his songs, just not specifically on this album, but reference kind of conversations that they'd had. They're like top mates.
Yeah.
Imagine a night out with those two.
Yeah. Well, so I don't know.
would get a bit
Stevie
wayward.
Nicks obviously is very, legendary in many ways as well as a musician and a hellraiser. But I know very little about Tom Petty, because I think one of the interesting things that I found, with all the stuff that people wrote when he died, is that he was obviously big in the UK and he played Hyde Park and everything. But he was in America. He was as big there as like a proper massive person here is. Like he was, because here I think a lot of people haven't heard of him in the UK.
He was much bigger in the States than he was here. Still big over here. Like
but he was a proper god.
Yeah,
in the
again,
US.
along the kind of the levels of your Springsteens and that kind of sort of level. He is, I don't know if there's something about his music that is very specific to America, whereas Springsteen's music does sound American, but there's kind of universal themes, whereas Tom Petty is literally singing about, like, he has the songs where he sings about, like, specific areas of LA and roads in LA that if you're from there, you're like, oh, this song about the valley is great, or you hear, like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, sing about Oxford Street. It's not going to do that. But this album as well, so this sold like 5 million copies in America, sold about 100,000 over here. Obviously, bigger country, but still, that's not the kind of same level that we're talking. So, the songs on this, what else have we got? Oh, we've got Running Down a Dream.
Okay, so, all right. So,
you're so bad.
So one of the other really interesting things that which you were talking about, I think, is that, so he was a lot more influential in ways I didn't realise. So there's that song that basically the Strokes' entire sound is stolen from the beginning of, which song is that?
American Girl. So Last Night and the beginning of American Girl.
Are the
So
same.
American Girl is on his very first album, 1976. And that ding 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 ding.
And then so is Running Down a Dream, is that the one that's the War on Drugs?
Yes, there's
right.
like bands like that, and I think even the Strokes admitted when people say, that's a Tom Petty song, and apparently Jude Casablancas just go, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Great song, I'm not going to deny it.
Yeah.
So there's so many kind of big American bands that have been influenced by, even there's that Sam Smith song that came out a few years ago that he ended up having to split the royalties with Tom Petty for Won't Back Down, because melodically it's very similar. I think, from what we heard, Tom Petty was like, it's cool. No biggie. There's only a few chords in the world.
Yeah.
I don't think he was very fussed, but then he got another paycheck and we were like, cool, I won't say no to that. But there's so many people reference him. He's just brilliant, and I'm really sad he died. He's only 66, which seems quite young.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Kind of sad that he also played his final shows just a week before he died at the Hollywood Bowl in LA, which were the final shows of the 40th anniversary tour. So, kind of in the city, his adopted home of Los Angeles as well. So there's sort of kind of a finality.
So were you in LA when they were happening?
Mate, I left LA 2 days before the shows were happening.
Oh, okay.
I was considering.
Was there like, so when Tom Petty did things like play 3 nights at the Hollywood Bowl, was there like a buzz in town?
Yeah, definitely.
Like
and I was there on holiday, and I was really considering pretending to lose my passport, and so I could stay in LA. Honestly, I did, but I was just too good, just too nice a person to bunk off work to see Tom Petty. Really wish I had now.
Yeah, well, I love loads of the tributes that I thought. Mark Ronson gave a great tribute. He wrote a really lengthy thing on Instagram
about seeing those shows.
I know we're veering off the album here, but just all the things.
Oh God, no, of course.
And like about how he was basically the Beatles in America, and he just seeped into every single part of American culture. And then there was like Jack Antonoff, Jack Antonoff's one of those people who he's involved in a lot of massive stuff. Like he co-wrote the Lord's new album, and what else has he done?
Loads of big stuff.
Loads of big stuff. But he's a very big, talented, and in some ways famous songwriter, but not famous in a David Beckham kind of way. Anyway, he said that every song he's ever written has got Tom Petty. He's thinking about Tom Petty when he writes it. Yeah. Such is the kind of the magnificence and the genius of Tom Petty. Also, and I've made a vow to myself that I'm going to spend when I get you just need a bit of time where you can go back and delve into an older artist. Tom Petty's on my list.
If you want some playlist suggestions.
Well, yeah, don't
worry. I'll do it later, not now.
Yeah.
But also, if you look at all his 90s videos, because obviously he came up in the 70s, was big in the 80s, but in the 90s he kind of went mega. and he was releasing these solo albums. The one that comes after this, the videos for it have like people like Johnny Depp are in the videos, and Faye Dunaway and Kim Basinger's in the video. Like all of these like quite high level Hollywood A-listers were all in his videos. So he was like really the guy to go to, and that's like 20 years after he first came out, and he was still massive and drawing loads of attention. And just doing like fun things. He always looked like he was having a fun time, whereas other musicians of that ilk do like quite a lot of sad songs. Again, I'm talking about Springsteen because he's like the most obvious person to compare him to. But Springsteen gets sad sometimes. Tom Petty's always having a right laugh. And you're just like, it's great, I've gone to a diner and like I've got a really cool old car and I just watched an episode of Happy Days. America. Like that's the vibe with Tom Petty.
Where does this album, Full Moon Fever, rank in your list of Tom Petty albums? Everything he did with Heartbreakers, all the solo stuff.
It's up there. It's really good. And to think that, it came out 15 years after his first, and to release an album of this calibre.
And do these Tom Petty albums went to #1 every time in America?
I reckon so. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't got my chart details on me. But if they didn't...
it's likely.
Mad if they didn't, because they're really good. Also, the artwork for this one's really good. It's like a kind of tour poster, like colours, block printing, if you're into design. It was great. I would give it 5 out of 5.
I can't give it a score because I've never heard it. But I have heard the song Running Down a Dream, which sounds like exactly like War on Drugs. And given that War on Drugs are good, you can
what can you extrapolate?
Naturally that it's also good. And that's it. So I give it a question mark out of 5, pending, TBC.
But POS, 5 out of 5.
POS 5, why not?
So bye-bye Tom Petty, I miss you already. Sad, but we have the music.
Sad, but I hope you're okay up there with all those other guys.
As if you believe in heaven. Okay, thanks. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye-bye.
Bye.